Jason Aaron and Aaron Kuda explore the Marvel Multiverse as we follow the trail of destruction and death left by the multiversal masters of evil, who have taken over Earth 818 and destroyed the world's Age of Heroes, preventing their Avengers from ever existing. Jason Aaron continues the big multiverse plot he began in Avengers issue 50, utilizing this new #1 to explore a different Earth and introduce us to some unique versions of familiar characters, exploring the 818 universe as we saw in issue 50 and continuing those characters' side stories. It was interesting that it kind of picked up on something the Orb said in issue 50, which was beware the Ant-Man, since here we get a version of Ant-Man from this new Earth who is Tony Stark, and we learn how he became Ant-Man, as well as an ever so brief look at his own team of heroes who've all sprung up in the absence of actual Avengers, being that the Avengers 1 Million team were killed, so there were no forces like the Spirit of Vengeance, the Starbrand, and Mjolnir in this Earth's present day. Aaron is also sure to continue parts of his huge Thor tapestry by including the goddesses of thunder from his time on the Thor book, and I'm very excited to see how they factor into this whole changed timeline story, since they seem to be racing to fight against it as well, and I'm looking forward to see where that actually fits into what he did for Thor in his book and all the grand stuff he was building up in that book. Aaron Kuda drew the issue and continued his action-packed, fast-paced work from Avengers issue 50. Delivering some really detailed double-page spreads, particularly the Ghost Rider action with the Deathlok, filling the pages with some fantastic explosions and flames, all of which Jason Keith, the colorist, brings to life with his bright colors. Avengers Forever issue 1 was a fun multiversal adventure, continuing the massive story Aaron has been building up to for some time now and giving us a great look at another world within the Marvel Multiverse. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. Avengers Forever issue 1 heads to Earth 818, where the burned, dying Odin tells Mjolnir to avenge him, reaching out with the last bit of life he has left in him to enchant the hammer so that anyone worthy of it possesses the power of the All-Vengeance. A voice knows that this Earth was meant to be the loveliest, with Odin caring for humans after the death of Thor during birth, and humanity would have flourished with the gods, but that reality dies with Odin, and the Earth is remade in murder and ruin. In present day Earth 818, Tony Stark, the Ant-Man, escapes from the Venom Ants pursuing him, calling for help from Shellhead, telling the robot ant that he's currently failing as a bodyguard. Tony escapes up the anthill, dodging falling stones as he remembers how his father died a 2-bit bootlegger and all he left him was a recipe for rum and a worthless last name. Tony, however, made that name for himself though, since he's the most wanted man on the planet now. Making it out of the anthill, Tony calls for Shellhead again, telling him that the Waste Lord's minions are still coming. They try and grab Tony with the venom webs as Shellhead blasts out of the anthill, carrying the head of something that Tony was looking for. Tony remembers how he discovered the Stark particles, something that made him very small, although at the time when he found them he was blind drunk, so he woke up the size of a maggot. But since then he's learned to control it and shrink other things, like rum bottles which he pops as pills, or treasures he's uncovered from prehistoric ages, like the head of a giant space god, which Shellhead locks onto the end of Tony's gun. Tony uses the Nowhere gun to blast the anthill, killing the Venom Ants as Shellhead grows in size, helping his master up, but Tony knows he's still upset with the robot. The two head to a nearby cave, diving deep into the ground and finding the bones Tony was originally looking for. Tony soon discovers the ancient Mjolnir, hearing something call to him, wanting him to avenge them. Tony shrinks the hammer down, knowing exactly what it is as he grabs the handle, struggling to lift it, but he manages to haul it up, unleashing its power, but the power soon dies off, and the hammer drops on Tony's face, pinning him to the ground. Tony shrinks himself to get out from under the hammer, stopping for a moment to have a drink as Shellhead cuts out the ground under the hammer, getting Tony to shrink it down even further so he can pick it up. Tony is freaking out that he was able to pick up the hammer in the first place, telling his robot friend that they gotta get moving since the war machines are probably waiting above to murder them. Outside, the war machines call for Tony to show himself so they can arrest him in the name of the Waste Lord. One war machine, however, gets a priority alert, prompting the team to blast off and allow Tony to escape, wondering where where the bad guys are headed. The War Machines meanwhile have been sent to deal with Ghost Rider and Deathlock, who is cutting through the horde of War Machines as the Hell Charger smashes into the side of a train, letting Robbie jump onto the locomotive, blowing up the engine as Deathlock knows that Robbie is the rider that was foretold of. Robbie rounds up the defeated War Machines, giving them all the penance stare as Deathlock opens the train, finding many prisoners filling the carriages. The Cyborg knows they can't let the men out in the middle of nowhere, so Robbie has an idea, kicking away the rubble of the engine and hooking the carts up to the charger, pulling it along the train tracks as more War Machines attack. Deathlock wonders where he's going since the Masters of Evil murdered this Earth's prehistoric heroes and remade the entire timeline in the Waste Lord's image, so the whole planet is a prison camp. Robbie knows that there has to be an Avenger somewhere on the planet as he blasts off a bridge, coming to a halt in front of a barricade where even more War Machines wait along with the Waste Lord himself, the Black Skull, who wishes to show Ghost Rider a lot of pain, but first he must kneel before him. Ant-Man meanwhile heads back to his base in the anthill, getting Shellhead to put the hammer with the other stuff he's collected as he tells the team to assemble. As he grabs a fresh bottle of rum, he tells them that he found another relic of the past, the Hammer of Odin, but he also knows something even crazier than the hammer happened, something they need to talk about. The team, consisting of Vision, Wonder Man, The Thing, and a Moon Knight, listen as Tony knows that there is a new bit of craziness and it's the last piece they have been looking for and it will help them save the whole world. Meanwhile, in the gulf between universes, a ship sails the superstorms with its crew knowing that the bad storms are feedback from the timelines being rewritten. One thinks they need to turn back, but the captain knows that they are in the superflow and there is no way back. Besides, they all heard the call and know what they need to do. The crew is revealed to be the goddesses of thunder, Thor's granddaughters, who aren't afraid of a little storm. Elder Civ knows that they can't even see where they are going, but Frigg knows they don't need to, since Mjolnir is pulling the boat to where it needs to be.